solve your problem, by the way, then you're going to have to tell us what it is. We're not mind readers. Nick and Carol at global.com. That's the email. Nick and Carol at global.com. And prepare to be mildly satisfied. And you can ask for that podcast by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Find it on Global Player. If you ain't got Global Player, then you absolutely should do. It's got enough to amuse you from now until the end of time. Stick it up your phone and thank me later. No, wait. I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
What's your problem with Nick and Carol? Oh, look, it's 11:30, the news headlines on LBC with Serena Farrow.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
I think he's betraying a quite stupefying ignorance.
Oh, what? Carol texts, backed a horse at Cheltenham. It was called Appreciated. I backed it because of you, says Carol, as in me, and it lost. Can you send me £2? Absolutely. Wait for it at your door. Lawrence texts, if people are arguing about whether we should keep the clocks at GMT or BST, how about we could put our clocks halfway between the two and stay there? Well, that just makes sense. Let's split the difference. Good work, Lawrence. And Marion says, I thought you went to school in Scotland. It doesn't matter about the clocks. In the winter, it's dark before and after school. Well, yeah, right. So let's make it lighter in the evening when people can actually use that light. There is no good reason for not doing it at all. The only reason that we still go through this nonsense is because no politician wants to actually do anything. They don't want to do anything that won't benefit them personally and will leave them open to criticism if anything goes wrong because of it. They just won't. So we're stuck with it, despite 100% of those that expressed a preference not wanting to be plunged into darkness every winter. We're only now just going to, it's Sunday morning, right? Is it Sunday morning?
Saturday night.
Like I said, it's Saturday night. From that moment on, then we will step into the light. How marvellous. Portsmouth. Hello, Taylor.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
Great, mate.
Oh, good. Nick, the reason why I'm calling is, obviously, I cover the younger generation.
Huh?
I'm 28 years old.
28 years old?
Yeah. Got a lot of respect for you. I'm actually sat on the sofa with my 82-year-old nan, who was born in Nazi Germany.
Oh, yeah.
And, sorry, were you going to say something?
No.
And I've been listening to the whole conversation regarding Brexit, how UK is dealing with the whole Ukraine thing and the Kate and William situation. And it's very close to my heart, and I don't think that
which bit is close to your heart? Because you just listed all of it, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Purely for the fact, so my family, if it wasn't for the product of immigration, I'm a white British male that I wouldn't be here, if that makes sense.
Right.
And
so immigration's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, definitely. My nan was my nan Ursula, who sat with me now.
Yeah.
Was a young German girl who met and fell in love with my granddad, who was a Grenadier Guard in.
Can you put Ursula on the phone?
Yeah, she's on the phone. Hello,
Hello, it's Ursula speaking.
Ursula, your grandson?
Yes, my grandson.
Is grandson, Taylor. And how's he turned out?
Yeah, it turned out all right.
That's not.
Living in his home with his mother.
That's not a ringing endorsement, is it? He's turned out all right. Could be better. Yeah. In what ways could he be better? First thing that occurs to you.
Not really. He could, settle down and find himself a nice girlfriend.
Right.
But he's still living at home.
Of course. All right. Nice talking to you, Ursula.
Okay, and you. Thank you.
Cheers, my dear. It was Ursula. 0345 6060 973. Hannah says, has Putin been giving the Met Police here advice on how to investigate the government? Yeah, I think the Met Police are investigating the government by not investigating the government. Nothing to see here. Please move along, or we'll arrest you. Don't cause a disturbance. Even thinking about causing a disturbance means 14 years in jail in modern go-ahead global Britain. Pete texts, there are a lot of cows wearing their alarm clocks who are really confused right now. Yeah, wake up, cows. It's later than you think. Let's have a call in Bruff. Hello, Derek.
Hiya, Nick.
Derek.
Long time no speak. I've been... anyway, I just wanted to ring you about, do you know Rich T... what's his name? Sunak.
Fishy.
Did you see him squirming on Sky the other day?
I did.
When he was asked about his wife's business involvements in Russia.
Yeah.
And he said that it's nothing to do with me. Well,
yeah.
It's not true, that, is it? Because his family is benefiting from, you know...
How can what your wife does not be anything to do with you, Fishy?
Exactly.
I mean, have you met your wife? Or do you have people intervening on your behalf with her people?
Yeah. I mean, it just made you laugh, didn't it? And I couldn't believe, but he was squirming. She really nailed him, that journalist. It was quite good. And there was another thing. You know, he was asking about why they don't want to do a windfall tax on the oil companies and stuff. Well, I don't know, there's a video going around on, Zara Sultana's thingy called Extracting the Urine, if you know what I mean.
Zara Sultana?
Do you know the Labour MP for Coventry? And she's put a tweet out the other day with a video she's there, and it's on there she states that, Nadine Sahar, the Education Minister, he's had £1.3 million in donations from an oil company. So maybe that's one of the reasons why they're not so keen to... Do you know what I mean? And like I say, if you watch the video, it's very revealing of what's going on. And the guy who was saying about the food banks who rung up earlier on, that was true. It was when somebody in Hartlepool, around the by-election, and there was asked this guy, who are you going to vote for? And he said, I'm going to vote Conservative because when Labour was in charge, we never had no food banks. Seriously, he did.
Well, the masses are asses. Don't forget that, Derek.
Exactly.
Was that the same bloke? It was him and his son. Two, I don't know what's the polite way of saying gormless cretins. Two people were on a boat and they were saying, "Oh, they're going to vote Conservative because around here, we've got a Labour council and they've taken the police off the streets. And we haven't got nearly enough police now, and they've shut the magistrates' courts and they've closed down the police stations." And he just gave a list of absolutely everything that central government is responsible for, and blamed it on the Labour Party, which means that education is going just fine as far as the Conservative administration is concerned, because we ain't got no education, we've just got thought control.
Well, there was one other thing as well, Nick, which was James Cleverly not being so clever. A tweet he put out was about how the Prime Minister is, bringing the world together and get to thing against Russia.
Right.
I thought, well, you don't take after your name, mate. I don't know.
What's the opposite of nominative determinism? Precisely. All right, good work, Derek. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. God, what a state, eh? Is this any way to run a country?
No.
Didn't think so. Just checking. Shafhaf texts, wouldn't it be simpler to start school an hour later instead of having this argument every year? Well, the two issues are not necessarily connected. I think that school should start an hour later for the very good reason that children, particularly teenagers, don't get up well in the morning. I know this because I used to be a teenager. Perhaps you were too. Impossible to get them out of bed in the morning. That's because they're growing, and so they need a lot of sleep. Every teenager in the country, every school child in the country is absolutely exhausted by the time they get to school because they've been dragged out of bed at least an hour before they really want to, before their body is ready to be pulled out of bed. Why? Why so early? I mean, study after study after study has shown that children learn better, have more attention, they retain more information if they start learning later. And just like the legalizing marijuana thing,
want to score some pot?
Study after study after study is ignored by the government that doesn't like the results of the study, and so they just enact another study. Oh, we're going to have another investigation because, the last 53 investigations all came up with the same answer, which was not the one we were looking for. They said, no. So they're going to have another investigation because, that'll work. I don't know why they don't do it, but they don't do it like for the reason that I stated before. Unless it personally benefits them, they're not going to do anything in case there's some negative story that comes of it that the press will pin on them. And that's how this country is run. Oh well, never mind, it's just life. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Yeah, there's another podcast I do. Yeah, I know. Well, how do you fit it in, Nick? Slave to work you are. It's called the Nick Abbot Habit. And it's of old shows. It's a half an hour. It comes out on Mondays. And it's just the funny bits of old shows. And they're shows from before where, the current nightmare when we were thinking about the end of the world. We weren't thinking about that then. We were thinking about other things. And the last one's just, the last one, which I'm very apologetic about that, to the point that I would like to say sorry.
I am very sorry that I screwed up.
Except it wasn't my fault. It came out a couple of days late, through no fault of my own. Innocent in every regard. But it's out there now, and it's from a couple of years ago when people were panic. It seems hard to believe. They were panic buying lettuce.
What?
Lettuce was being cleared from the shelves. Why? I have got no idea. And in that podcast, we learned something a bit alarming about eating pasta and what it might do to you. Bit worrying. But anyway, it's called the Nick Abbot Habit. If you just do an internet search on my name, Nick Abbott, and podcasts, then all three will become apparent as though by magic.
Nick Abbott on LBC.
Shut up.
I can't. 0345 6060 973. Chris texts, due to the sunny weather, I had the first unwanted fly circling indoors. I'm looking forward to summer fly swatting and more tea drinking. Are the two connected? You need to get a death bat, Chris. It'll be the best thing you've ever bought in your life. The only way to deal with a fly, and most particularly a clothes moth, is with the electrified death bat. It's, talk about satisfying, it's just marvellous. Please do not call me and tell me that flies are people too, because they just aren't. The thing with clothes moths is, and I must have, stop me if I've said this 1,000 times before, is that they have the ability to disappear. It's like they're covered in stealth paint. You see one on the wall and you think, right, I'm having you. And then you get your moist towelette or whatever it is that you want to attack it with, and that once it takes off from the wall, you can't see it anymore. It just disappears. Where does it go? And you can't clap them. I mean, I've tried to bash them out of the air by smacking my hands together over where I think it is, but it seems to have the ability to swerve palms coming towards it. But it cannot avoid the death bat. It's like a tennis racket that's electrified. Don't put your tongue on it. and it deals with a moth with a tremendously satisfying way. If you get them just, I know, they're just clothes moths. I mean, I wouldn't do it with a big moth. I would, put it in a glass and chuck it out the window. But not clothes moths, because they've got it coming. I mean, they've declared war on my jumpers, so they must die on sight, no exceptions. And if you get them just right, they explode. Houseflies, on the other hand, they just get stunned. Yeah, you whack them out of the air, they go, "God, blimey, what was that?" And then they lie on the ground for a while, and you haven't killed them, you've just stunned them. So you must deal with them in, whatever way you see fit. You can chuck them out the window while they're still stunned and, unable to avoid you. But there's no better way of getting it, getting it or them. Trust me when I tell you. Purchase a death bat and thank me later. No, wait. I've changed my mind. You can thank me now.
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Let's see. Lewisham. Hello, Hannah.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Hannah.
Hello. Oh, hi. Yes.
You have to turn the radio down, Hannah.
Yeah, I'm going to go in the other room.
You have another room.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of lucky, but I'm not fishy-rishy, am I?
Okay, then. Sounds pretty well off to me. I can only dream of having another room.
Okay. Oh, right. This, how anyone can fancy that lump.
Which one?
There's only one lump we have.
Oh, there absolutely isn't.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
You're talking about that lump?
Yes, that one. Yeah. I didn't catch all of it, but only bits and pieces of it when Biden came to visit. And there was a group photo, and I swear to you, I don't think I'm wrong when I say that in that group, young and the older members, men and women, looked or were trim and well suited and booted.
Yeah, they look like leaders.
Well, look.
You're speechless, Hannah. You're that angry you can't express yourself anymore.
Leave the leadership aside, but as a group, they looked really neat and tidy.
They look like business. They look like business people who do serious businessing business.
Yes.
Or something.
Trim and tidy.
Right.
And he absolutely spoiled that group photo.
Yes. Yeah, somebody should put a tidying filter on him.
He stood out like a complete and utter sore thumb.
Yeah, you know that when the press print a picture of a lady or a gentleman in the all together, and they pixelate out their private parts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Somebody should pixelate his whole being out.
Yeah. Well, I was sort of thinking, he's got the raw end of a Faustian deal, because I kind of think there's a Dorian Gray portrait of him hidden away somewhere, and the raw end of the deal is that the portrait is beautiful, whereas in reality he's walking around like an untidy, ugly, could I say evil as well?
Sure, why not?
Evil lump.
Yeah, you're an evil lump, Bodge. What have you got to say about that?
I can't comment on that.
He's agreeing with you in every way, shape or form.
Also, at one point, I think this may have been after the group photo when they all, chuntered off and got into little cliques, animatedly
started talking business,
talking to each other. He looked so lonely and isolated.
Yeah. That's global Britain on the world stage, leading the way. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't know what to do with his hands, and
he looked like the child that he pretends to be.
Yeah, and it really backfires in these contexts, doesn't it?
Well, I said before, his act works if he is on his own on stage with the spotlight on him. He can do all that routine that he does. When he's around other grown-ups, it doesn't work because grown-ups don't appreciate it.
Precisely. But for his act, Nick, he needs to have the audience that votes for him,
right,
or the MPs who are beholden to him for their position.
Yes.
So
his
there's
fans.
a symbiotic negative.
Take any cult leader away from their fans, and they are lost because the act doesn't work anymore.
Precisely, and it really does backfire on him, as you say. When
it doesn't. Not on him. It's not backfiring on him. He's doing just fine, Hannah. When he stops being Prime Minister, for whatever reason, businesses will bury him up to his eyeballs in money.
I know that. I know. This is what really, when you said that I was getting angry, that's the thought that makes me even more, upset.
Yeah.
I absolutely know that he is waiting for the day to give up this mantle of premiership.
I can't believe that he...
go out there and make tons and tons of money.
Okay, relax, Hannah.
Yes.
Just take a breath. Take a breath. Couple of 3 breaths and hold it. And relax. There you go. Do you feel better?
Yes, thank you.
A little bit better. You're welcome. All right, thanks a lot, Hannah. Yeah, I can't believe that one man can be so lucky. I mean, just distraction after distraction after distraction comes along to take the mind off whatever it is that we've discovered he's guilty of. I mean, all he needs now is a little war. Oh, no, that's right. We've got one. Can you believe it? 0345 6060 973.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
What's he got to be depressed about?
Are you kidding me? They had a prank call. Somebody prank called the Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, pretending to be the Ukrainian president. I mean, I haven't seen the video, but really? A prank call to Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, pretending to be the Ukrainian president. And Priti Patel was apparently in receipt of another one of these calls. And the government is blaming Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin is making prank calls. What, he's auditioning to be a DJ? Because that's how he spends his time. Vladimir Putin wants to be a morning DJ. Hey! 0345 6060 973. Paul texts, Nadine Doris is starting to wonder if those calls from Santa, the Easter Bunny and Elvis might be a bit dodgy too. San Francisco. Hello, Pete.
Hello, it's Keith. Did you say Pete?
Can I call you Pete?
No, my name's Keith.
Can I call you
Keith from Merthyr Tydfil?
Can I call you Pete,
Keith,
though?
Who was on,
But Pete, though, can I call you
whatever.
Keith?
Well, you can call me Keith.
I'll call you Pete. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, I've been listening to you for a few months because you come on in the afternoon here and I've got you on my phone and I hear it when I'm driving around.
Okay.
And I'm actually from England originally, 40 years ago. And I actually voted for Howard Wilson and James Callaghan. But there's one thing I want to ask you about. I've noticed I've seen in the last 30 years, England has got rid of their industrial and their manufacturing jobs and have sent them all to China.
Mm-hmm.
So what good paying jobs can ordinary English people get?
Well, that's becoming less and less obvious by the day. I mean, if you drive around, it's probably the same in San Francisco, actually. If you drive around town, you are constantly being buzzed by a flock of blokes on scooters who are delivering things to people that work or at home. I mean, they're just everywhere. They're like mosquitoes around you. You can't turn left or right because they don't obey any of the laws of the road, and they'll undertake you and overtake you on a roundabout, and they'll weave in and out of traffic. And it's amazing that you don't plough into dozens of them every time you take your car out. But that seems to be our future now. 90% of the country is going to be on a moped delivering stuff to the 10% that have still got proper jobs.
Yeah, but like all these, I mean, they say that Britain now has a service industry economy, but all the money is in the finance, in the banking, and the insurance. I mean, the other service part is being waiters and working in shops. Yes. So how the hell is anybody with a working class background that used to work in manufacturing going to earn a decent wage? Right.
Well, we can't. The idea seems to be, I mean, if this is not the plan, then it's worked out this way, that the vast majority of people spend their entire life furiously peddling in order to stay still, doing a job that will never give them, really, a comfortable living. It's like the new slave trade. And little did we know, we're all slaves now. Apart from the top 10% who are earning all of the money. Just think about this. Millionaires and billionaires over the last few years have had an increase in their wealth more than in any other similar period in history. Where has the money come from? The money, they don't just magic it out. I mean, I know that they magic it out of thin air, but the consequence is that all of us are poorer by a slight amount. And if you combine the money that 60 million people are poorer by a slight amount, and you give it all to the top 1,000 or 10,000 people, then for them, for the 10,000, that is a massive amount. The great masses, they don't notice it so much because it's come out of their pockets incrementally.
Well, but it's come out of their pockets, but they haven't got the jobs where they can earn decent money. Right. So, I mean, you talk about them going around on these mopeds and stuff, but like when I lived in England before I moved out here, I actually worked in a factory which has been closed down now for 30 years. I mean, and all those people are just trying to scrimp by for the last 30 years. So I don't quite see how things are going to improve in England till a manufacturing base is reestablished.
Well, I mean, Bodger stated, and continues to do so, that he wants a high-wage, high-skill economy, but has absolutely no plan or, I doubt, intention of making that happen. Because for those two things to happen, you're going to need a high level of education, which we just don't have.
I went to school in England. I went to school in England, I tell you, not everybody in my class was smart. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but one person in a class will be smart. One person in that class will have the mental ability to do a high-skilled, high-wage job. Everybody else will just about get by, and it used to be that they could get by, like you said, by working in a factory or doing like a skilled thing, like building walls or, working a loom or whatever it might be. But like working with your brain, which is what we have concentrated on after the Thatcher Revolution turned us from a country that made things to a country that just moved numbers about on a screen, not everybody can do that. It's a certain...
not the majority of people, I can tell you that.
Say what?
Not the majority of people.
Exactly,
I can tell you that.
Yes. So we're pretending that everybody can learn skills that will be highly paid and highly valued, but that's absolutely not true. So most of us are going to be, I don't know, what's left for us? doing a talk show on the radio.
Do you think England's hit bottom yet? Do you think that there's even what's left of what industry is there will be bought by some Asian or Chinese company? And
well, every now and again, I run through a list of things that you associate as being British, companies and products and so on, and none of them are anymore. We've sold everything. We're so stupid in this country that we sold our electricity and our gas and our water. And what kind of a moron country sells its water, for crying out loud?
Yeah, and you can't even build a nuclear power station. Yeah. You have to get the Chinese involved.
Exactly, yeah. We were at the point of saying that the Chinese couldn't put up phone masts because that was a security risk, but in the same sentence, could you please come and build us a nuclear power station? Because, what could possibly go wrong? It's incredible what's happening over here, Keith. You wouldn't believe it.
Well, you haven't actually cheered me up because I've always thought this, and I've heard you mention this, that there's really not much of a future for ordinary people.
No future for me. Thanks a lot, Keith. 0345 6060 973. Get Johnny Rotten on the phone and he'll sing it for us.
Rock and roll!
Jakey texts, did you see the clip of Biden pulling Bodger to the side and possibly giving him a stern talking to? The look on his face after, my goodness, world beating. No, I didn't, but I'm going to look it up. How did you react, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
Badly, like a scolded school child. Who's been waiting the longest? It's Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Hi, Nick.
Been waiting a very long time, Jan. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I want to thank you first for keeping us happy with your wonderful show.
Oh, thanks, Jan.
It's great. Really keeping me happy.
But I kept you on the line so long because I've been busy dealing with the...
I've had to sort of...
dealing
I had something
with
specific to ask you, but also to say, but keeping Freud out of it, it was about the teapot that you... The double-spouted teapot in your dream, because...
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Like this?
Yeah.
I know, I thought, have I actually seen an object like this? Is it an art object? Does it exist as an art object, a novelty teapot? Have I seen it somewhere? And I looked it up online, and apparently it's quite a serious object. It's not, whether I thought maybe it was something in a surrealist painting, historic, those avant-garde paintings, that maybe, or has someone ever served you? You can tell me what it means to you, but I've found out it exists as quite a serious object.
Well, probably not a serious object. A teapot with two spouts.
There's one in the British Museum.
Is there?
A Chinese one, which serves, it's got the spout either side of the teapot, and it can serve two different types of tea.
Oh.
Yeah, I wondered if that's maybe you saw it subconsciously.
No, not on either side of the teapot, but on the same side. So in other words, you could... Hang on a minute.
So there's a lot of teapots
Hang on a minute.
out there.
So you could pour two cups at the same time?
Yeah, it's divided. It's got... This Chinese one is a historic one. It's it's like a work of art, It's very special. But they said it was in the British Museum.
Oh, well, they probably nicked it.
And it's got, what do you call it, a dividing thing.
Like everything else that's in the British Museum. Yeah, we stole it from someone.
I can't remember what century it was, but then there's a lot of them out there, Nick.
Yeah, it was probably Ming.
No, but in your dream, have you ever been... Has any... No, you don't. I want to leave Freud out of it because I was looking at it as an art object to begin with, wondering where I'd seen it or whether you had seen one.
What's Freud got to do with it?
Well, I don't know. He wrote a lot about dreams, but I don't really like Freud.
No, me either.
Jung is better. It's a bit more...
Freud, D-U-L-L, boring. Plus, obsessed with sex.
Disgusting.
Get your head out the gutter, Freud.
Yeah. I think Jung is more interesting with his archetypes. If this is an archetype, the double-spouted teapot, I don't know quite what it would mean. But I just wondered, have you
No.
seen one before. Is it something new to you?
It was new to me in my dream, as was hanging out with Jacob Rees-Mogg, the details of which you can hear on Nick Abbott, The Whole Show.
No, I heard the show. I heard the show.
I'm not telling you. I'm telling them. Nick Abbott, The Whole...
No,
Nick
I
Abbott,
heard that show.
Nick, I know you did. I'm not telling you.
No, I know.
Nick Abbott, The Whole Show podcast from last Saturday. I explained my curiously detailed dream hanging out with Jacob Smug and whatever woman that was who was in his flat.
Yeah, I thought it was quite terrifying. Was it? You talk it as a nightmare?
Terrifying. Well, it wasn't terrifying. It was just bizarre.
Oh, right, bizarre.
Yeah, much like the man himself.
I think this is nonsense.
Oh, that's the wrong bloke. But you know they're all of a type, aren't they? I think it's the school, isn't it? Yeah, it is.
Nick, you know what you could do?
What?
Have you ever thought of making art objects?
Funnily enough, and
you
it's
could
weird.
do a bounty with this one.
It's weird that you should say that, but no.
No, but you know you could make an art object from your dream.
Yeah, no, but I couldn't though.
No, get someone to do it for you.
Get someone to do it for me. Exactly right. Just like Damien, out of...
you don't. Artists don't bother to do the work themselves.
No.
They get someone else to execute it for them.
Right. Why would they bother doing the work themselves when you could get some minimum wage oik to do it for you?
Oh no, I mean you want it to. If you wanted to, I mean you could, and then you sell it to the high art auction houses
for £1 million.
Double-spouted teapot.
Double-spouted teapot, yeah.
Look, I've given you.
As endorsed by Jacob Smug.
Well, I don't know. You could have a narrative to go with that's the narrative that goes with the object.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, Jan. You make the pot, you write the narrative, and sell it for £1 million, and we'll split it 50-50. What do you say?
Yeah, well, yes, okay.
I'm a winner! Thanks, Jan. That constitutes a contract in law. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
I am not one of your fans!
Let's have a call in Carnforth. Hey up, Annie.
Hey up, Nick. How you doing?
Great, mate.
Good. I was just ringing up about fishy, not very dishy, Sunak, because I think he's really going to be in some trouble if he doesn't do something about annoying pensioners, because I think he's going to have annoyed a lot of pensioners by the end of this year.
Oh, I thought you meant that if he doesn't do something about all of those annoying pensioners.
Well, yes, he probably would like to do something with us, like get rid of us all, but unfortunately a lot of pensioners do vote for them, and they've got rid of the triple lock, which was a manifesto promise, so that when our pensions go up at the beginning of April, they're only going up 3.1%, whereas inflation is at 6.2%.
Well,
so that's
at least. I mean, it's that 6.2% is an underestimate massively, because it doesn't account for what people actually spend their money on. It's just this weird basket of goods.
Well, yeah, and also a lot of pensioners, especially older pensioners or disabled pensioners like us, are housebound and at home all the time, so we can't. It's very difficult for us to economise on heating.
Of course.
I mean, lots of pensioners
you've got nothing to cut back on. He just doesn't... people just keep saying this. He doesn't understand. He can't relate. Well, of course he blooming well can't.
No, I don't think he's ever had to think about switching a light off or turning the heating down or anything else
Doesn't occur to him. He wouldn't know where the light switch is. He's got people to do that.
Yes, yeah, and... I mean,
he'd probably wave his credit card in front of the light switch to see if that works.
Yes, yeah, but I mean, I do think a lot more pensioners will die of hypothermia this year, because we've just been told last week that our energy bill is going from £107 a month to £213 a month.
Wow.
From the beginning of April. And in October, they're going up again. You know, I was told by the energy company they'll be going up again.
Yeah.
And experts are saying probably by about 40%. So we'll probably be paying, by October, we'll probably be paying about £300 a month just for our energy bills. So I think we'll just have to stay in bed a lot more or start wearing nightcaps or something.
Right.
Or woolly hats.
Yeah. And it doesn't even register. Is there a single member of the cabinet that is not a millionaire? I don't think that there is. If they're not millionaires, then they're billionaires. It's not that they're out of touch, it's that they don't know that there's something to be in touch with. They're totally, their life is totally out with the experience of every single other person in this country. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I'm sure they've all got private insurance. They don't have to go and sit with the hoi polloi in the NHS.
Of course not. They don't have to. They don't have to rely on the NHS, which is why they're not bothered about the NHS.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, they don't have to be bothered about social care because they can just pay privately for as much social care as they need.
Correct, and then
they don't have to worry about anything really, do they?
Anything that would ordinarily be the business of government. The police, they live behind gates and walls. They're not that bothered about the police, and as we've seen when those hippies went into that oligarch's mansion, if you get burgled, Annie, then the police might call you up and give you a crime number. They won't show up, or if they do, they'll be there 3 days later. Even if you've got your burglar in a headlock at this minute, they'll be too busy to show up. But if you stand outside making a disturbance on the steps of a billionaire's palace, then every single police person on earth will show up in riot gear to take you out.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, you'd be lucky to get one at all around here because we haven't even got a police station in Carnforth anymore. Nearest one is Lancaster, which is about 10 miles away.
Right.
Or Kendal, which is probably about 15 miles away the other way. So, yeah, we just have to get on with it. Just to hit them over the head with a poker.
Yeah. I wish you the best of luck with that.
Yes.
All right. Thanks a lot, Annie. 0345 6060 973. They have no clue. And you can look up their voting record. Don't listen to what they say. Look at what they do. There's a website called They Work For You. You can look up any MP and check their voting record. I challenge you to find me a Conservative Member of Parliament that has not consistently voted against the interests of the poor and for the interests of the rich. They'll all vote for a reduction in capital gains tax, which is how the rich make their money. You don't become a billionaire by getting paid. You become a billionaire by the acquisition and increasing value of assets. That's capital gains tax, which is why capital gains tax is lower than wage tax, because the rich don't like paying taxes. It's their number one issue, paying less tax. And I suppose the truth of it is that it doesn't matter what the actual percentage is. If you're levying it on a massive amount, then it's going to be a massive amount. So even if it's 10% across the board, this is the great lie that people say, oh, well, there should be, we should lower the tax rate on the super rich and then they'll willingly pay their tax. No, they won't. If you earn £1 million a year and the tax rate is 10%, I mean, wouldn't that be marvellous? 10%. Then at 10% on £1 million a year, you have to write a cheque to the government for £100,000. That's a Bentley. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to do everything in their power to avoid doing that. So even at 10%, they're going to be working, or they'll have their accountants in shiny buildings in the city working day and night trying to, mitigate those losses. Hide it in some offshore account somewhere. under a web of companies. You know, all of that financial finagling racket. Can't remember what I was talking about now. Just calm down. Just relax. Everything's going to be fine. Unless it isn't. Islington, Angus.
Hi there. Yes, enjoy your show, Nick.
Thanks, Angus.
I just wanted to say that I feel it's totally unfair and immoral. The fourth biggest economy, which we're constantly reminded is in the world, can't find money to support poor people.
Well, they can. They just prefer not to.
Yeah, or having to choose between heat or eat. So I did a bit of research on the Treasury, on the Bank of England website, and the government's managed to print and spend $745 billion since 2009.
Wow.
To prop up the banks and the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
And put that in perspective, they've spent £38,000 per household underwriting the city, effectively.
Right.
And these absolutely humongous sums of money belong to everyone.
Yes.
But they're effectively used to guarantee stock market profits. You know, the stock market's been going berserk for the last 10 years.
Right. Assets have increased in value massively.
Exactly.
Because there's far more millionaires in the world. And it doesn't take many millionaires to increase the price of everything. And they become millionaires by the accretion of tiny bits of everybody else's money. So they don't take everything at one go, but it's like salami slicing. Tiny bits here and tiny bits there and tiny bits there. And after like several years of that, you think, hang on a minute, where's all my money gone? I'm working night and day, 7 days a week, and I ain't got no money. And that's because you didn't notice it, because it's like this tiny, it's the by small increments, yes, like boiling a frog in water.
Yeah. And then as a result of that,
poor frog,
it's actually devalued everybody's money. That's what's happening in the States. They've printed so much QE that the value of the dollar and the pound is falling. So anyone who's got savings is losing out on that front.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think we need a judge-led public inquiry to determine where this £745 billion has gone and who's pocketed it all.
Angus, they will appoint the judge based on how friendly the judge is. And after 6 months and £50 million spent, the inquiry will come back with lessons must be learned.
Yeah.
And that'll be the end of it.
It's just we've got to help those who can't eat or heat. And we should use QE judiciously in a proper way to help people. And this needs to be coupled with a windfall tax on big energy companies, which is what everybody's saying. And it's just inequitous what's happening.
Correct. Everybody is saying it, apart from those that could actually make it happen. They, weirdly, seem bizarrely keen not to enact a windfall tax on the energy giants, who, by their own admission, have just lately turned their companies into cash machines.
Yeah. And I just think, it's always glossed over. This $745 billion, which the government has printed and bought government bonds off the banks, where has that money gone?
Well, like I said, there's many more millionaires and billionaires, and those people's wealth has gone up stratospherically over the last couple of years.
Exactly.
Something of the order of 40 to 50% they've made, but just by standing still and doing nothing.
But I never hear it really discussed. We're discussing now, which is great, but it really needs a proper discussion. So I suggested a judge-led public inquiry, but people have got to get wise to what's going on with their money, rather than fighting over, poor immigrants who's on £50 a week or whatever in some dreadful hotel. That's what the whole focus of the media and the UK is on, and watching boats coming across the channel.
Exactly.
So, to be honest, the real BAS, well, I won't say it, that's who people need to turn their eyes to.
Yes, precisely. But those distractions that you've just described are thrown at us all the time. And they do it because it works. Because if you make people frightened of an influx of others, then we can all be controlled very successfully. We keep voting for the same people precisely over and over again on the instruction of the very same people. Offshore billionaire press barons didn't instruct us by playing on our fears to vote for something that is not in our best interest. Obviously it isn't. The last 12 years have shown you that beyond any shadow of a doubt, and yet we continue to do it.
Couldn't agree more.
It's infuriating. All right, thanks a lot, Angus.
Thank you very much.
It is. All right, cheers, mate. And what we need is proportional representation. Oh, look, the time. That's awful. Very, very unprofessional. It's way past 12:30. The news headlines with Serena Farrow.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Yeah! Dude! James texts, to solve poverty, you just need a job and thousands of years. Tony says, so the great Bodge completely blanked the freed hostage for 6 months and now he's free. He's free. Bodge wants to meet for a photo shoot. She's free, you mean? Completely blanked the hostage for 6 months. Years. That's everything in that text is wrong. Never mind, eh? Yeah, how weird. Oh, God, talk about depressing. On Twitter, it was, the text is about the, what?
It's Anousheh Ashuri, it's the other hostage.
Oh, right. Send her back was trending on Twitter this week, at which point I turned my computer off and left the room. Why? Because she was telling the truth about having been essentially abandoned. Her family told not to make a fuss for 6 years. And as though by magic, all of the reasons that we couldn't pay a bill that we owed, that the International Court of wherever told us that we owe it and we should pay it, and we said no. And furthermore... No. Magically, just when His Imperial Bodgeness needed another distraction, we paid it. Good news story. And she looked too good. People wanted her to be bedraggled and gaunt and ill. So people were upset about that, if you can believe it. And second, she wasn't grateful for us having left her there for 6 years while we insisted that we didn't owe the money that we of course owed. One minister said, we couldn't pay it back because they were Iran were doing naughty things or some stupid thing like that. They were acting in a way which we disagreed with. Well, this government is acting in a way that I disagree with. Is it okay if I withhold my tax? No. Didn't think so. I mean, if I don't think it's a good idea to give ministers' mates cheques for £108 million to provide masks that don't work or never arrive and have been jacked up in their price by a massive amount. Is it okay if I don't then contribute? Tony texts, so the great Bodge completely blanked. Oh no, I read that. I read it just now. Pete says, you don't understand. We need to make the 1% mega rich even richer. Then we can all become richer. It's called trickle-down economics. 99% of people don't get it. That's right. 99% of people don't get it. You get nothing. I just looked it up. Billionaires' wealth, not millionaires, billionaires. Billionaires' wealth has risen more since COVID-19 began than it has in the last 14 years put together. The richest people in the world doubled their fortunes in the last 2 years. Did your fortune double in the last 2 years? No. Do you have a fortune? No. To double? The money's got to come from somewhere. By small increments, it comes from us. By either the amount that we spend on stuff we buy, or the amount that things cost, and the amount of benefits that get put out, and the help that people used to get, and etc., so on. Money is not subject to gravity. It goes upwards. Congleton. Hello, Angela.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Great, mate.
Good. Last time we spoke, we decided we were so fed up with this cesspit of despair in this country and this stupid government that we were going to run away and we were going to meet at the airport. Well, I went and I waited, and
What?
you didn't show. You didn't show.
That is an outrage, Angela.
It's terrible, so I came home. Anyway, what I was ringing about was Sunak. No, he's not dishy. And whoever decided that was a good headline, no, he's not dishy. But
I bet he decided it was a good headline and had had his people call a newspaper with an idea. Oh, I know. Let's call him dishy.
It'll be the Mail. They like that. Anyway, what I was thinking was, you're the same age as me, exactly.
Really?
Same age.
Same age.
Exactly. Yep. And you will remember, no doubt, the Pillsbury Doorman. Do you remember him?
Yes.
The Pillsbury Doorman. Now then, you said earlier they're all a certain type. Well, when I was going for my weekly dose of self-flagellation, watching PMQs this week, if you look at them and you look at the benches, the likes of Budge, Mark Francois, Andrew Bridgen, Buckland, they've all got the Pillsbury Door look. Frampton as well, he's got it.
Yes.
Do you see?
We know who's eating all the pies.
They all look the same. They all look the same.
They all look like they've had a heavy lunch.
Yes, pasty, pudgy, sort of bloated slightly.
Pasty, pudgy and bloated. I think that's that's their actual names. If you go along the front bench, there's pasty, there's podgy, and there's bloated.
There's bloated, yeah. They've all got that look.
Yeah.
That certain look. Anyway, we can I don't know, I just pray, if you watch Question Time this week, the audience were not happy. And it was all over Twitter. But I'm just please God, let people realise what they're doing to this country. Because I can't cope with much more despair.
Angela, it's been 12 years, and people in this country still vote for them in such numbers as to give them, quotes, a stonking majority. I don't. If we haven't learned after 12 years, I don't think that we are ever going to learn.
Well, I've had a sweatshirt made, and it's great, and it's black, and it says on the front, "Never kiss a Tory." Now, living in leafy Cheshire, I get some funny looks as I wander around Aldi with my "Never kiss a Tory" on, but what more can you do? Put up posters, go on marches, and...
Well, I think if you put up posters, if you go on marches, and if you wear a T-shirt that says "Never kiss a Tory," then I think that is causing a disturbance, which could have you 14 years in jail. So watch out, Angela.
I won't have to pay my fuel bills, will I?
Well, that is true. You'll get heating and 3 meals a day.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, I'll see you inside.
See you.
I'll see you in the exercise yard. Thanks a lot, Angela. That's a good idea. We should all commit a crime. I mean, everybody that can't afford their bills, just commit this kind of crime that will get you put in like a cushy jail, and you'll get your heating and your meals for you. And that is the official advice of LBC. It's not. Please don't do that. John texts, how many people look back on their life and think, I wish I'd worked harder? Exactly. Yeah, we've all got caught up in this, and I know I have, in this must get more stuff thing. We're all obsessed with getting new stuff, and you have to work harder in order to afford new stuff. Oh my God, they got a new phone out. I know it looks exactly like the last phone that I had, but I absolutely must have it straight away, if not sooner. It only cost £1,500.
What?
But people are obsessed with it. New, more. Nobody at the end of their life thinks, oh God, I wish I'd replace my phone more quickly. Do you? But you might think, wow, I wish I'd taken more time off work, or I hadn't worked so hard, or I hadn't had to work so hard to pay the bills for all the stuff that I really didn't need. But that's the dream. That's why that's how you're kept in line. How do they keep you in line? By keeping you just uncomfortable enough and in a precarious enough position not to rock the boat. 034. What? I mean, really, what a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. You know, I haven't even got onto the Royals yet. Oh, blimey. What a story that is. And it every day and every way, it just got more and more toe-curlingly embarrassing. I bet for them as well. You know, Wills and what's it? Trying to grin their way through the most ill-advised royal trip ever. I mean, can you think of a worse one? At a worse time. Just, I mean, and the coverage. Oh, Struth. I tweeted out today, good news, the internet has been increased by 50%. The size of it increased by 50% in order to accommodate more pictures of Kate. But I guess I'll get onto that tomorrow because there's just no end of stuff to talk about it. I haven't really talked about Fishy yet. I've got detailed files, but, you know, I've been sidetracked because we've been talking about the issues. 0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late.
Let's have a call in Fulham. Martin.
Evening.
Martin.
The Artful Bodger in his very extremely brief manifesto for the last national election had among his 7 points not to raise national insurance nor income tax.
I remember him on LBC. I think he was talking to Nick Ferrari, and he said, read my lips, I will not increase income tax or VAT or what was the other one? I don't know. But anyway, he said, I'm not going to do any of those things. Read my lips, he said.
Yeah, sounds like George W. Bush's father saying, no, read my lips. Yeah, but anyway, I thought I ought to come up with a new nickname for Bodge. We call him the Artful Bodger. Anyway, the other thing is I've got a nickname for Rishi Sunak, which is Slushy Eunuch. But I don't think you've decided to take that one up before. I thought some of the readers might like, some of your listeners might like it.
I will write it down and use it frequently.
I won't hold you to that. Fine. Good night.
Thanks, Martin. 0345 6060 973. He was on and he was gone. He was very brief and he knew when his time was up and he said ta-ta. And furthermore...
Bye-bye.
0345 6060 973. St John's Wood. John T.
Nick, I think you deserve a bit of hope.
A bit of hope?
Yeah, I'm a natural Tory. I made a vow. The Conservative Party are the Conservative Party. They're con artists. And never vote for them again.
But But what was it that made you vote for them in the first place?
Liberal economics, trickle down, open economy, pro-business.
Trickle down economics?
Mistaken. We'll never vote for them again. They're a disaster. And the thing that will make me never vote for them again is because they shouldn't allow a leader like Boris Johnson in power. I mean, he's disgraced himself, and the fact they are incapable of doing the right thing means they're not right to lead this country. And they're so wrong on so many points. I mean, the Sunak guy, he's done nothing for anyone in any position of hardship. He's been stone-hearted on this spring announcement. The Home Office is a disaster. This culture of hostile environments is a disaster. Our Foreign Office is a disaster. It's disaster everywhere. They're just useless, and they're just con artists. And all they care about is their image and conning the people and persuading them through their various soundbite campaigns. I mean, the thing that broke the camel's back for me was when you had a clip, I think James O'Brien was playing, you had a clip of Boris Johnson saying one thing about Ukraine and Brexit. And literally, what's his name, Savage Javid and one or two other Boris henchmen telling us that he didn't say what he said. I mean, come on.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. They were sat in the studio. I can't remember what TV program it was. It was maybe Sky News, and they played a clip of Bodge on stage saying, what was it he was saying? I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's amazing their ability to disseminate misinformation as it's being described to them. And they say, oh, no, he didn't say that, having just seen a clip of him saying it.
I know. But, hey, Nick, call him Johnson, not Bodge, because even though it's quite funny, the thing is, it makes him sound harmless. Boris Johnson's not harmless. He's the most malevolent, malicious, malign.
And other words that begin with M.
He's actually ill-intended.
Yes, I believe that is actually true. I mean,
you know what? What's amazing is he's criticizing Putin for being a liar. Forget. I mean, I'm no fan of Putin. He's a terrible human being.
Yeah.
But Johnson does exactly what Putin does. He just can't do it as badly because he's not in the Russian system. He takes it just to the nth degree in the British system as he can to be malevolent and malign, just as Putin does in Russia.
Well,
he's just in a different system.
Yeah, in that regard, he said, in Russia you get put in prison for saying bad things about the regime, while pushing through a law that would put you in prison in this country for saying bad things about the regime. I mean, you couldn't make it up.
We got to get rid of him. I've never voted Labour in my life, but I'm going to vote for Starmer, not because I like him, because I do believe he has some morality. We cannot. I mean, I don't need my politicians to be totally puritanical, but some decency. I can't bear the lies anymore.
Yeah.
The lies are like a weight on the whole people. They're besmirching our nation.
Yeah, I can't disagree with a single word that you just said. It's a sort of a serious way to end a show.
Our country is a beautiful country, and it's full of beautiful people.
Right.
And these people just do not represent the beauty that is in our people. They represent the worst part of this nation, and they should just be got rid of. I firmly hope, I pray that Johnson actually loses his seat at the next election.
Well,
I think he might do.
I can't believe that that he would know how to get to Uxbridge with a sat-nav. I mean, is he really representing the interests of the good people of Uxbridge? I doubt it.
Oh, I thought he was going to put himself in front of a tank or something there, wasn't he?
In front of a tank before he allowed another runway at Heathrow. And then when it came to a vote on another runway at Heathrow, he mysteriously left the country bravely. I think he left the country in search of a fridge he could climb inside. Jonty, it's been... go on.
Can I just say one other thing?
Yes, go on.
This idea that we shouldn't get rid of Johnson during the Ukraine war is just ridiculous. We should be accelerating that button. We should be pressing it as fast as we can. Why would we want a war? Why would we want a war leader like Johnson? And remember, in 1940, we got rid of Chamberlain, and he wasn't anywhere near as bad as Johnson. Johnson should not be in charge of a country anywhere near a war situation. He's untrustworthy, and he should not be our leader, and we should get rid of him as quickly as possible.
Well, we got rid of Churchill before the war actually properly finished.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah.
So, let's... he wants to be like Churchill. Let's let's give him exactly what he wants. All right. Thanks a lot, Jonty.
Sure.
0345 6060 973. Maybe this one. Let's see if I can squeeze this one in. Glasgow. Hello, Eric.
Yeah, hello there, Nick. Eric. Yes, morning. There was a call on 10, 20 minutes ago about the immigration status of the problems that that's going on with the immigrants, and what's happened with the P&O ferries is quite a lot to do, I think, with the immigrants. The truth of the matter is, Nick, that in Glasgow, certainly, we have people in Glasgow that don't have any national insurance numbers, and they've been living in Glasgow here for quite a long time. These people some of them are getting employed by businesses, and they're getting filtered through the system. The truth of the matter is that there's a lot of immigrants coming from the Ukraine, and our country is getting.
If you say full, I'll disappear you immediately.
I would say it's overflowing with people.
That sounds like full to me. Well, I should have gone with my gut instinct. There was just something about the look of that call. Even before I took it, I knew it was a big mistake, huge. And I apologise.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
If you do an internet search on my name, Nick Abbott, then you will find that I do 3 podcasts. One is with Carol McGiffin.
Yeah.
One's called the Nick Abbott Habit. And the other one is called Nick Abbott, The Whole Show. Almost immediately, this show is over. It gets squirted up the internet, and by which method you can listen to it for a shorter period that it would take you to listen to while it's live. Does that make sense?
No.
We take the news and the ads out. It takes less time to listen to. You'll use less electricity, and your fuel bill will come in, and it will still make your eyes pop out. I apologise for not having read the million texts that have come in. I'll wipe those up tonight when I come back at 10 o'clock. In the meantime, the information about what's coming next is right at the bottom of all this. There it is. Ian Payne is on at 4 o'clock. But first, the lights have come on in the Starship Enterprise, and it's Clive Ball.
Nick, thank you. And coming up after the news at 1, Rishi Sunak says he can't solve every problem. But has this week's mini-budget solved any problem at all for the country's poorest? We'll digest the financial news from the week. Also, coming up later at 2, what's really happening in Ukraine and can peace somehow be achieved? Daniel L. Davis, who's a foreign policy analyst and a former lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, joins me to answer your questions about the conflict and the military strategy. And as the government announces a plan for 10 times as many car charging points by 2030, is that enough? 0345 6060 973.